Good morning, everyone. It's probably not morning when you're watching this, but it's morning right now for me when I'm recording it, and I am eating my breakfast. Although by morning, I mean it's 1 p.m., and by breakfast, I mean I'm eating some sour keys. My body is a temple, what can I say? Now I'm coming at you with something wild today. The movie industry is never going to be the same. Take everything you know about influential moments in film history, crumple it up into a ball for me, and do me a favor, throw it out the window of your car when you're on the freeway specifically, so that when it lands on the windshield of another driver and they crash and burn, the paper dies with it. That's right, because the entire Shrek 5 movie has been leaked. It's a masterpiece. What can I say? It's incredible. When I first laid my eyes on it, it felt like an Indiana Jones when they see the Ark and their faces start melting, because I just couldn't take such godly power. Honestly though, that is actually one of the scariest things I ever saw as a kid. That and Slender Man really tormented me as a child. Like, I would go to swimming lessons when I was like 10 years old, and I would be scared that I would see Slender Man at the bottom of the pool looking at me. Tell me that's not the scariest thing you've ever heard. I used to legitimately lose sleep at that thought. But anyways, this leak has been flying pretty under the radar. Not many people are talking about it, let alone able to see it. But luckily for me, I've got the mad connects in the industry, so even though I may get sued for this, I'm doing it for the culture, and frankly, you can't put a price on that. So with that being said, let's jump in. Your face may melt off, like I previously said, but I do think it's worth it. If there's a time for it, it's now. We all gotta go somehow.
The world is dangerous, Felicia. Why would you ever want to leave the swamp? We have everything here.
Dad, I'm not your little girl anymore, and I refuse to be locked away like Mom.
I said no. You're never leaving the swamp. Now you're grounded. Go to your room.
So right off the bat here, a lot of avant-garde choices by everyone involved in this project. DreamWorks Studio, the backstabbers that they are, they decided to throw Universal Studios right under the bus and go with the new distributor, Saul Bierman. Now, I consider myself a bit of a film buff, but I personally haven't heard of them. They're pretty unknown. They're pretty underground. They're going to be calling them the next A24 after this. Second thing I noticed is, since people are chronically scrolling TikTok and Reels these days, not shorts. Shorts are not a part of this. They decided to release the movie to be viewed in portrait mode. Honestly, it's a great move by the studio here. No doubt Saul Bierman was behind this. It's about time that films just get with the times. People have been saying this for years now, and if you haven't heard it, then, well, you just heard me say it. So personally, I think they should have thrown in Subway Surfers gameplay underneath to really go all the way. But I understand that even for a studio like Saul Bierman, they don't want to be putting the cart before the horse too soon. They already know they've got gold here.
Shrek, you were too hard on her. I know how it feels to be locked away.
She's my little girl. She never needs to leave the swamp. What isn't already here that she needs?
She just wants freedom, and I know how that feels. Shrek, you should go apologize.
Okay, so right off the bat, the character animation quality has improved significantly. They even listened to us. I know we fought hard, and they brought back the old Shrek design, so good for them. Leave it to the Saul Bierman studio to give the people what they want. I do have to say, though, the background animation is lacking a little bit. Not exactly the kind of industry-leading animation you would expect from Saul Bierman, but you know what? I can let it slide, because the voice acting is top-notch. They made up for the lost animation and more with these performances. They even have captions in the form of speech bubbles. Talk about innovation. No longer will you have to look back and forth from the bottom of the screen when you have subtitles on. No longer will you get nauseous from moving your head up and down trying to follow along like with a typical movie. The subtitles are right on top of the characters, clearly legible and in great quality, so you don't even have to move your eyes. A quarter of the way through the movie and it's already changing the way I see the industry. The Foley quality too, this film just keeps outdoing itself, but it really makes me feel like I'm really there, like I'm really in it, I really feel like I'm beside a roaring fire in Shrek's hut, and Shrek is yelling in my face. The atmosphere created here is just incredible. I can practically feel the warm blanket of Shrek's breath in my face. We aren't that technically advanced yet for that to be possible, but let a man dream,
Felicia, I'm sorry. Fiona, she's gone.
As you can see here, we've already made it to the second act of the movie. Great writing, lightning quick speed, keeping you engaged. The stakes are rising as Felicia has rebelled against Shrek and escaped through the window, and they can't find her. I just know they wanted to put a bye Felicia joke here, but the heads at Saul Bierman definitely stuck their necks out and made sure that didn't happen. And really, I thank them for it. They know they're better than that.
gotten there yet.
Now here's a perfect example of a movie that knows its audience. It knows that it's for kids who have short attention spans. So what better way to cater than to have the entire rest of the second act be a montage. They know that the kids just want to get back to playing Fortnite and watching TikTok. You know, not every show is Skibbity Toilet as much as they want to pretend they are. They can't hold kids' attention like that. So they just show them a montage and leave it up to their imagination. You know, it really is a beautiful thing. The movie is in your own head, and that means it's perfect because you created it. You made it exactly what you wanted, and no one movie is the same as another. You've seen directors like Quentin Tarantino talk about this for little parts of backstory, but they just took it into their own hands and made it the entire movie pretty much. So that really is innovation. Music is gonna hop on this soon too, I know it.
We can't be together, you're an ogre. I'm a
Dad was
human.
right. I never should have left the swamp. I'm such an idiot. I'm going back to the swamp. What was I thinking?
So in the third act here, we cut back to Felicia, who's now fallen in love with a human. Now this is some pretty standard stuff. You know, I'd be lying if I didn't say this was a rehash of the original Shrek. Even as a self-admitted Saw Beer Man fanatic, I know my due diligence when I see it, and it's important to point out problems like this when needed. It's only to help the studio out after all.
Let's split up to find her, Felicia.
Dad, I'm sorry. I should have never left the swamp. I should have listened to you.
No, honey, I'm sorry. I needed to stop being so overprotective. You're not my little girl anymore, and I needed to let you go. Now let's go home.
A very heartfelt ending here, dare I say a little bit rushed, but I guess they knew that if they went over 1 minute long, they'd lose a lot of their viewers, so they stuck to their guns. Overall, this movie was a welcomed fifth movie to the series, and it'll surely be remembered very fondly by Shrek fans alike. The pacing was excellent for the most part. It kept me engaged all throughout. Of course, I don't want to sound like a broken record here or a bit of a film snob, but the ending was a little bit rushed for my taste, and I did want to hear at least one line from Donkey, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess. They probably blew all their budget getting Zendaya on board for this role, which, by the way, great performance by her and all the three other people involved. I am still curious what happened with Shrek's other kids. I was really hoping Willem Dafoe would step in as one of the roles, but it just wasn't in the cards, I guess. Our only hope is they tie up those loose ends in Shrek 6. This movie is one for the books, though. Saw Beer Man is definitely putting themselves on the map with this one. You know, when they rolled the final cut, it was like Curiosity landing on Mars in the exact boardroom. This movie has the kind of exaggerated swagger of a movie that knows it's a hit, and it wears it on its sleeve. So what did you think of the movie? Was it worth the wait? Will this get them the Shrek 6 greenlight they so desperately want? Let me know your thoughts. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.